On April 13, 1958, the Bible Baptist Temple was started under the leadership of Ed and Alice White, along with 45 other believers. Clifford Clark, pastor of the Tulsa Baptist Temple, preached the organization message, and the church called Ed White to be their pastor. The first service was held at Bryant Elementary School, which is still located 1 mile southwest of the church's present address. Under the leadership of Pastor White, the church experienced immediate growth. In May of 1958, the church purchased property at 6308 East Apache Street from a family in the church. Soon after purchasing the property, the church began building its first auditorium. On January 5, 1959, the church held its first service in the newly built facility. Although the temperature had dropped well below freezing in this still uncompleted building, the people were excited to finally meet in a place of their own. As the church continued to grow, the need soon arose for additional Sunday school space. The men of the church once again eagerly began constructing what is now the flat roof facility. The work on that Sunday school facility was completed in 1963. When the state put in Highway 11 just behind the church, some of the auditorium had to be removed. Once again, the need arose for a larger auditorium. As in the past, the majority of the work was done by the men of the church. The A-frame structure they constructed has now become an iconic feature of the Bible Baptist Temple. This second auditorium was finally completed in 1966. Throughout these various building projects, Pastor White was faithful to lead the church to do what New Testament churches are supposed to do: win souls and baptize them. They reached out into the community through a bus ministry. They also started a worldwide missionary program in 1963. During that year, the church held its first Faith Promise Missions Conference. In 1973, the church established the Temple Christian School for the purpose of offering a Christ-centered, Bible-based education using the Accelerated Christian Education Program. Several men worked under Pastor White in the Christian school ministry, including Ken Spotts, Trevor Baldwin, Kirk Post, Ralph Ball, and Roy Prince. The church also had a solid youth ministry. In 1981, Roy and Desiree Prince started working with Pastor White. After Pastor White retired in June of 1990, the church called Roy Prince to become their new pastor. Under Pastor Prince's leadership, the church faithfully continued what was started under Pastor Ed White. Souls continued to be saved and baptized, and various ministries continued to see growth. Under the ministry of Pastor Prince, several young men surrendered to full-time ministry. These men are still serving today as pastors, missionaries, and Christian school staff. Sensing the leadership of God, Pastor Prince felt led to transition to a new ministry in 2013. By recommendation of Pastor Prince, the then associate pastor, Matthew Martinez, was called to serve as a third pastor of Bible Baptist Temple. The Lord blessed with a smooth pastoral transition, and Brother Prince continues to serve faithfully at the Northgate Baptist Church in McAlester, Oklahoma. After the pastoral transition on June 2, 2013, the church began to pray for unprecedented acts of God. Although God had accomplished much through the church in the previous 55 years, the church believed in God's ability to still accomplish greater things in the future. On July 23, 2013, God answered those prayers. A storm which boasted straight-line winds of over 70 miles an hour peeled back about a third of the flat-roofed area of the building. Through this seemingly terrible incident, God provided over $110,000 for repairs through insurance and the sacrificial giving of His people. With these funds, the church was able to purchase a new flat roof, remodel the vestibule, nursery, 5 Sunday school rooms, including the school lunchroom, and sheetrock and texture the hallways. In addition to these funds, over $20,000 were provided for new tables, chairs, computers, and other items that were in need of replacement. Through the storm, God blessed the church with over $130,000. Another area the church began to pursue and earnestly pray about was paying off over $42,000 in debt owed to church members. Many people had loaned their personal funds to the church through a program called the Sinking Fund. God has graciously provided through gifts and giving, so the church will be able to pay off the remaining amount in the very near future. Of far more importance, of course, is the spiritual work that has taken place over the most recent years. The Lord has steadily added members to His church. One area which has seen tremendous growth over the past few years is the music ministry. Many individuals willingly use their talents to minister through the gift of music in meaningful ways every week. The church is also privileged and excited to be the sending church of the Joshua Prince family, missionaries to Uruguay. They will begin working toward the establishment of a church in Salto, Uruguay in 2018. God continues to save souls, and individuals continue to grow through the faithful teaching and preaching of His Word from the pulpit. Bible Baptist Temple has been bountifully blessed over the past 60 years. By God's grace, the church will continue to reach out with the gospel to people in the community as well as those all over the world.